Operation. We are starting on time. Welcome to the 2025 Lakeway Veterans Day ceremony. Thank you all for coming out. Most of you know me, and you know that I'm shy, so I won't talk much. But I think you know how special Lakeway is, that we have events such as this. And if you look around, we're just about out of seats. And that shows the compassion, the patriotism, and just how special this little town called Lakeway is. So thank you all for coming on out. We just can't do enough to honor our heroes. Raise your hand if you're a veteran. This is the safest place in Texas. So you all have your information for today. I want to just start off. Many of you have heard this before, but I always like to say it. A veteran is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made out payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including his or her life. Last week I presented at Hudson Bend Middle School, where Carrie Orr, Jim and I went to talk to the kids, Jack Crownover, talked to the kids about what is a veteran. It took me 5 minutes to explain what a check was. But I got through that, and then they understood truly what is a veteran. And that's another special thing here in Lakeway. With Sergeant Carrie Orr, he coordinates Hudson Bend Middle School, Lake Travis High School. We go out to those locations every year and explain to the kids what is a veteran. They're learning about what is the Vietnam War. They're learning about what is the Korean War. So you can rest easy knowing that this next generation coming up, they're aware and they appreciate you. And I think that goes so far and it's so special. Sorry, I always forget. My name is Steve Quakenbush. I always forget that part. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Honor Flight Austin. Who here has been on an honor flight? All right. It's a wonderful thing. Who here served prior to May of 1975, anywhere in the world in any capacity, who has not been on an honor flight? Raise your hand. Okay, before you leave, you come see me. Free flight. I'm not asking for donations. We are good there. I am asking for more veterans to honor. So those who went on a flight, talk to those who have not been on a flight and say, what is your problem? You need this. So it really is, it's special. I've been with Honor Flight for over 10 years now. We have flown 101 flights. We have flown 3,600 veterans, 3 Lakeway Honor flights. That is the most of any Central Texas town. 3 Lakeway Honor flights totaling over 100 veterans from this town who have been honored with an honor flight. And we want to do another one. Okay, just one more thing before we start. I love this one. Some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they have ever made a difference in the world. But a veteran, they don't have that problem. That's Ronald Reagan. And it really does help understand that you may have not been in combat. Guess what? Less than 10% of anyone serving has seen combat. 90% is support. 90% is somewhere in the world protecting against communism and socialism and other forces. So just think about that. I think that's really special. Ronald Reagan had a lot of great lines. But at this time, if you are able, please rise for the presentation of colors, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. At this time, we're going to have the service flags brought up with the Armed Forces medley. When you hear your song, please stand and be recognized.
Bye.
last was the Space Force, which is the latest addition to the Department of Defense. And General Rod Kelly, raise your hand, he was actually in charge of the Space Force. It was created in the 70s, not many folks know, but it was broken out just to show how important it is to protect our satellites. Some of you may be aware what happened yesterday. I know it because Marines can't stop talking about it. Marines, stand up for a birthday song. 250 years proud. Sound off. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marines. Happy birthday to you. I don't want to hear about it for another year. Sit down. Goodness. As part of Honor Flight, I've spent many trips to Washington, and we do have Space Force folks in uniform on the ground. Does anyone know what a Space Force individual is called? Guardians of the Galaxy. This is not a joke, this is fact. We have the Space Force Guardians. As they were doing the song, I wanted to go, but I held back. In your programs, it does mention that we're going to have invocation. Pastor Surtees is joining us today, so I'd like to thank him for taking the time to honor you all. So please.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm a really very close friend. Wow. Sorry about that. He's a retired United States Marine. Hoorah. And this is his, so I'm going to read it. You would bow your heads in prayer with me. Gracious and eternal God, on this day we pause to remember those who have served our nation with courage and honor. We give thanks for the men and women who have answered the call to defend freedom, those who stood watch, who faced danger, and who sacrificed for the freedoms we enjoy, often at great personal cost to them and their families. May we never take their service for granted. Bless them, Lord, with peace in their hearts and strength in their days. We also pray for those who serve today. Keep them from harm. Guide their leaders with wisdom and bring them home safely to the ones they love. And Lord, may our remembrance not end with our words, but with our actions, by striving for peace, by caring for those whose time of service has ended, and by working together to build a nation worthy of their sacrifice and service. May this day renew in all of us a spirit of unity, gratitude, and hope for a better world, a world where your love, O Lord, reigns forever. And it's in your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much for, again, honoring our people, our folks here. If you look around, we're officially at standing room only, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see that, to know how patriotic this little town is. Also, Air Force, thank you for delaying your tea times until after this event so you can participate in the ceremony. We do appreciate that. Rick, I'm talking to you. Veterans Day is a time to honor and recognize and celebrate. The reason why they don't let me do this for Memorial Day is because it's a serious event. I just enjoy making fun of other branches. But as I say at all of my honor flights, all of our honor flights, a civilian will praise you to your face and talk crap behind your back. A veteran will talk crap to your face and praise you behind your back. It's perspective. Civilians don't really understand that we like zinging one another, and we will keep zinging one another. But another very nice saying is, you harm one of us, you fight all of us. So remember that. As I make fun of you, Air Force, I will make sure that we are one team, one flag, one nation, and that's pretty special. I would like to invite Mayor Kilgore, West Point graduate. If you hear a clicking sound, it's his ring. I'm ROTC, we know about that. But please, Mayor Kilgore.
Thank you very much, Steve. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the City of Lakeway, the Lakeway City Council, I would like to welcome you to our annual Veterans Day observation. I'd like to welcome our distinguished guests, Rear Admiral Scott, our Mayor Pro Tem Mastrangelo, City Council members Kent O'Brien and Matt Sherman, and City Manager Joseph Molise. I'd also like to thank all of our participants. Brooke Grafterson, the Vice Regent of the Lomans Ford chapter of the American Revolution. Our officiant, Pastor Surdy of the United Methodist Church. Thank you, Pastor. Lakeway Sings for what they do. Our trumpeter, Sarah Gajardo. The Joint Color Guard of the Lake Travis Fire and Rescue and Lakeway Police Department. The Standing Military Committee. And last but certainly not least, our Master of Ceremonies, Steve Quakenbush.
Hey, everybody.
There you go. So thank you all for participating, folks. Thank you. Veterans Day is a very unique American holiday. For our Commonwealth allies, this is Remembrance Day or Armistice Day, commemorating the end of the Great War, the war to end all wars 107 years ago today. We wear the poppy in tribute of those who fell in Flanders Field and all who died in the First World War. And we have tolled the bell in memory of tolling of the bell on this day to mark the end of the First World War and the beginning of the armistice. And we have played taps in remembrance of our missing brothers and sisters. I ask you today to think about the importance of service. America remains the world's indispensable nation, made so by our Constitution and the armed forces who swear an oath to it. Next year, our nation will mark the 250th year of our Declaration of Independence. However, this year, we have already observed the 250th anniversary of the creation of the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. Before we had a nation, before we had a constitution, we had veterans. Over this last year, I have traveled to two military reunions. The first to Fort Hood to gather with the soldiers and leaders of the 1st Battalion, 8th Cavalry. In addition to seeing my old friends, we also met with the current soldiers and leaders of that battalion and see that they are carrying on the current traditions and fine service as they are now deployed in Eastern Europe. For the second reunion, Karen and I traveled to West Point to commemorate the 45th anniversary of my graduation and commissioning. The class of 1980 was unique. We graduated the first female members of the Long Gray Line. Our senior cadet or first captain was the first African-American first captain. And our class produced the largest number of general officers of any West Point class since the end of the Second World War. I mention these reunions because I was asked by a city employee if I missed the Army. Oh, hell no. But I do miss the people. It was the people who taught me my most important leadership concepts. We don't judge based on your color, education, religion, or any other identifier. Rather, we ask two simple questions. Can you do the job? And can I trust you? If you can't do the job, but I can trust you, I will train you to become part of an excellent team. But if I can't trust you in your service, no matter how good your skills, you do not belong in this organization. And that was the test for our leadership. It's all about the people, trust and confidence. It is you, my fellow veterans, that makes service to the nation so special. Allow me to repeat Milton's line, They also serve who only stand and wait. We take a moment to acknowledge the families of those service members and veterans who shoulder the weight and the burdens of sacrifice. To the mothers, fathers, spouses, and children of our military men and women, thank you. Your love and support and resilience are the backbone of this nation, and that must never be forgotten. This year, 3 more veterans have had their names inscribed on the Spirit of Freedom Monument. Although they cannot be with us today, we thankfully salute 3 Army veterans, Ian McVeigh, Mark Rowe, and Stephen Merrick. Today is the day we honor all of those who have ever worn the fabric of our nation's cloth, sworn an oath, and committed to give the nation everything, up to and including their very lives. We honor all who have served in the United States Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and Merchant Marine. And I thank you for joining us here today to honor them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. So, as I said, with Veterans Day, it's a lighter atmosphere, celebration. And Navy, I got to tell you, I've been on a half dozen Carnival cruises, and I don't know what you guys complain about. That was a really nice experience. All they do is complain about being on a ship. Buffets were outstanding. Okay, one more. Anybody know what a Marine stands for? What does Marine stand for? Muscles are required, intelligence not essential. Okay, on that note, hey, I got the microphone, people. So I'm honored to invite up Rear Admiral Judd Scott. I've known Judd for a few years now. He joined us on Flight 100, I believe, flight number 100, honor flight. And that was in September. And he told a story that night, Friday night is storytelling time. And everybody in the room was quiet listening to this story because he was talking about his service on submarines. Who in this room, raise your hand, would love to be locked in a little tin can and put down a few fathoms? Anyone? Hey, Judd, come on up. You're the winner. But again, Rear Admiral Judd Scott, we're thrilled that he's speaker here today. So I won't make fun of the Navy anymore, I promise.
It was really a big tin can, I'll have to tell you. Well, good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, veterans, and fellow Americans. I am humbled by being asked to speak here today for Veterans Day. This is a very important day for me and my family. My grandfather was first an enlisted sailor, then became a naval officer, and served aboard the ship, which eventually became the very first naval aircraft carrier to begin naval aviation in 1922. For all the pilots in the room, that was over 100 years ago. Also for the Army, for the little extra help. My father was a Naval Academy graduate in the class of 1942. His class graduated early, and only 2 weeks after Pearl Harbor, they said, that's enough. You've had enough training, put the books away, you're going to war. He then served in combat in the Pacific during World War II. I served in the submarine force during the Vietnam War and afterward, and the Navy Reserve for a total of 35 years. Now, our son is a Navy fighter pilot who flew combat sorties over Afghanistan. Then, in a day's work, he flew back over the entire country of Pakistan and landed at night aboard his aircraft carrier in the Indian Ocean. He still flies fighter planes in the Navy Reserve. I have the naval officer's swords of my grandfather and my father mounted above my own on the wall of my study. Someday, they will pass to our son to mount with his own in his home. one or more of his 3 sons may decide to continue this family tradition by earning their own military sword as well. Now, today, we gather to celebrate Veterans Day, as you all know, which is a very sacred occasion to honor all the men and women who have served our nation with courage, sacrifice, and an unbreakable commitment to our freedom. From the frozen valleys of the Revolutionary War to the deserts and mountains of today's conflicts, our veterans have carried the torch of liberty through every chapter of our history. Their own deeds and sacrifices have forged the America that we know today, a beacon of hope, strength, and resilience for us and for the world. Join me now as we reflect on their unbroken legacy spanning over 2 centuries and renew our own gratitude for those who have given so much to protect and secure our own way of life. Let's begin at the dawn of our nation, in the intense crucible of our Revolutionary War. Excuse me, in 1775, ordinary men, farmers, blacksmiths, merchants, most with no prior military training or experience, outnumbered and very poorly supplied, took up arms against the mightiest empire then in the world and its well-trained and experienced army and powerful navy. These Minutemen, with muskets in hand and resolve in their hearts, stood at Lexington and Concord, where the shot heard around the world sparked a revolution against English rule. They endured a bitter winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington's army faced starvation and disease and the very real potential of defeat. Yet they emerged stronger, united by a dream of independence. These first American veterans fought together not for glory, but for an idea that a new nation could be built on liberty and self-governance. Their victory at Yorktown in 1781 secured our independence and gave birth to our country. But it came at a cost. Thousands gave their lives, and countless others bore the scars of war. Yet their sacrifices laid the enduring foundation for every freedom we cherish today as Americans. As our young nation grew, so did the challenges that tested its resolve. In the War of 1812, veterans defended our sovereignty against new British aggression at sea and on our shores. Sailors and soldiers held firm at Fort McHenry, as we sang a while ago, bombs burst in the air, inspiring Francis Scott Key to pen the words of our Star-Spangled Banner as he watched the battle. Less than 5 decades later, the Civil War tore our nation apart, sometimes pitting brother against brother and father against son. Union and Confederate soldiers alike faced unimaginable horrors. A total of over 600,000 perished in battles like Gettysburg and Antietam. Indeed, there were more casualties in that war than all of our other wars combined. Yet from that crucible of military sacrifice, the Union was preserved and slavery was abolished, ensuring that America would remain one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Their collective courage mended a fractured country and set us on a path to a more perfect union. In the 20th century, Americans, veterans, again answered the call, this time on a global stage. During World War I, our doughboys crossed the Atlantic to fight in the trenches of Europe, enduring the terrible new weapons of mustard gas and machine gun fire. as well as endless mud and the brutalities of trench warfare. Over 116,000 Americans gave their lives, and many more returned home forever changed. As we know, and it was pointed out earlier today by the mayor, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the armistice, the end of the war, gave birth to what we now know today as Veterans Day. It was a tribute to those who fought in the war to end all wars. We are gathered here, as you know, on the same date and at the same time and for the same purpose 107 years later. Yet, the war to end all wars was not to be, and peace was fleeting. Just over 2 decades later, World War II summoned America's greatest generation. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, from the wild seas and U-boat threats of the North Atlantic to the brutal amphibious landings at Anzio and elsewhere, over 16 million Americans served around the world. They stormed Omaha Beach on D-Day. They liberated concentration camps and they raised our flag at Iwo Jima. They endured the unimaginable horrors of sustained combat in brutal conditions on Peleliu and Okinawa. They fought in bitter cold to stop the massive surprise attack at the Battle of the Bulge in Europe. And they risked their lives to fly heavily laden planes from India over the Himalayan mountains, the hump, to resupply forces fighting the Japanese in China. Over 400,000 never returned home. Their lives were cut short to defeat tyranny and to preserve freedom for their freedoms, their families, and for generations unborn. Those who survived carried the weight of their experiences, often in silence. But their legacy endures in the values they defended, in the evil empires they defeated, and the free nations they helped to rebuild. Each of the conflicts that followed, tested our veterans in new ways. In Korea, less than a decade after the end of World War II, they braved freezing winters, extreme summer heat and humidity, difficult mountainous terrain, and overwhelming odds to hold the line against communism, earning the title of the Forgotten War for a sacrifice too often overlooked. In Vietnam, our veterans faced not only a relentless and often faceless enemy, but also a divided nation back home. Despite many challenges, they served with honor, fighting while navigating dense jungles, rivers, and swamps, and enduring frequent ambushes and intense urban combat. Over 58,000 made the ultimate sacrifice. Their resilience laid the groundwork for the all-volunteer force we have today, a testament to their enduring impact for our country. In recent decades, our veterans have confronted new threats in an increasingly uncertain world. The Gulf War saw our forces liberate Kuwait with precision and speed, showcasing the strengths of a modern military built on the lessons of the past. After the tragic events of September the 11th, 2001, a new generation of veterans stepped forward to serve in Iraq and Afghanistan. They patrolled perilous roads, faced unseen enemies, and adapted to wars in rugged terrain with extreme weather, yet without clear front lines. Over 7,000 gave their lives, and countless others returned with wounds, both visible and invisible. From the deadly streets of Fallujah to the mountains of Tora Bora, they fought not only for America, but for the hope of a safer world. Today, our veterans continue to serve in an era of evolving challenges, cyber threats, counterterrorism, and peacekeeping missions around the globe, as well as new threats emerging from Russia, China, and North Korea. These are the dedicated sons and daughters of a nation that has never faltered in its commitment to freedom. They embody duty, honor, and commitment, leaving behind families, careers, and comfort to answer a higher calling, whether they served in peacetime or in conflict, on the front lines or in support roles. Every veteran has contributed to strengthen the fabric of our nation. While we speak of their deeds, let us also honor their sacrifices. Veterans leave behind more than just their homes and loved ones. They often carry the weight of war's trauma, physical scars, mental burdens, and the silent struggles of post-traumatic stress. They mourn comrades lost, and they rebuild interrupted lives after their service, often without the recognition they deserve. Yet through it all, they have shown us what it means to persevere, to rise above adversity, and to serve something greater than oneself. Today, let us remember that freedom is never free. It was paid for in the courage of a Revolutionary War soldier facing a bayonet charge, and in the resolve of a World War II pilot flying into heavily defended enemy skies. It continues to be paid for in the vigilance of modern service members patrolling a distant outpost, in the skilled flight of highly trained aviators in skies far from home, and in the concentrated attention of seasoned sailors aboard their ships, both on and beneath the seas around the world. It is also paid for in the restless nights of families waiting for their loved ones to return, and in the tears shed at gravesides for those who never will. Our veterans have paid that price, generation after generation after generation, so that we may live in a free nation where liberty, opportunity, and justice remain within our grasp as Americans. So what is our own duty on this Veterans Day? It is to honor and support our veterans, not just with words, but in our actions. We must ensure they receive the respect and care they have earned through robust health care, meaningful employment opportunities, and the chance to make their own contributions to better our society and our country. We must teach our children the names and stories of places like Yorktown, Gettysburg, Normandy, Bastogne, Okinawa, and Fallujah, so that the sacrifices of our veterans are never forgotten. And we must strive to be a nation worthy of the dedicated service, united in our own commitment to the ideals they fought for. As I close, let me share two stories that capture the courage, dedication, and spirit of so many of our veterans. These are chosen from the 472 Americans who won and received the Medal of Honor for their actions during World War II. A young Army soldier named John Pinder landed 100 yards offshore from Omaha Beach under devastating enemy machine gun and artillery fire on D-Day. He was shot and gravely wounded only a few yards after entering the water from his landing craft. He then struggled in waist-deep water to carry vital radio equipment ashore. He delivered the radio and refused to stop for rest or medical attention. Without stopping, He then made 3 more trips to salvage more communication equipment from the water, despite his wounds, severe pain, and loss of blood. On the 3rd trip, he was again wounded in both legs. Although growing steadily weaker, he then aided in establishing the desperately needed radio communications on the beach. Still under heavy enemy fire while he did so, he was then shot a 3rd time and killed. His actions helped secure the beachhead that turned the tide of the war on Normandy. Technician 5th grade John Pinder was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously as one of 12 American heroes during the events surrounding D-Day. Another of those heroes, this time in the Pacific, was Marine Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone for extraordinary heroism in combat in Guadalcanal in 1942 during the Battle for Henderson Field. While in charge of 2 sections of Marine heavy machine guns, and while under savage and determined Japanese frontal assault with grenades and mortar fire, one of his gun crews was put out of action, leaving only 2 Marines able to continue to fight. Sergeant Basilone moved an extra gun into position, then repaired and manned another by himself until replacements arrived to help. Shortly afterward, their ammunition ran critically low during the heavy battle, and their resupply lines were cut off. So Sergeant Basilone battled his way through hostile Japanese lines to bring urgently needed ammunition to his gunners. He was then later called home for a war bond tour after he received the Medal of Honor for his actions. But he wanted to return to be with his combat Marines. He re-enlisted and participated in the invasion of Iwo Jima. He led the charge to destroy an enemy blockhouse. Then he was leading a Marine tank to safety through a minefield where it was trapped. And while it was under fire, while he was doing that, he was killed in action. He was awarded the Navy Cross for his bravery in that combat and became the only enlisted Marine to receive both of those decorations in World War II, the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. So to every veteran here today and those we honor in memory, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, and your unwavering dedication to this nation. You are the heartbeat of America, the guardian of our freedom, and the embodiment of our highest ideals. On this Veterans Day, we salute you, not just for what you have done, but for who you are. You are the soul and the fiber of a nation that will never forget. You have become part of the long line of heroes who have stepped forward to defend our country. The names of each of those heroes may fade, but their collective legacy will endure, thanks to your own actions and the ongoing contribution of other veterans like you. May God bless our veterans, their families, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Admiral, thank you for your educating remarks. Thank you very much, and please accept this gift from the city. And thank you for attending today and participating with us.
With gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
Very much, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, I'm unwilling to follow that up. Mayor, you take the rest of the show. Thank you, Judd. Send me that, email me that. That was very special. And really, it goes to, again, the heart of a veteran. those who served. I've had the honor of meeting and speaking with over 3,000 veterans with honor flight, about 1,000 World War II, and then follow up with Korea, Vietnam, Cold War. The one thing I hear most often, more than anything else, was, why did I sign up? No, they say more often than anything else, I wanted to make sure my buddy was safe. I wanted to protect my brother. I wanted to make sure that my unit was secure. And our Medal of Honor recipient, Marine Corps, which Watch the Pacific on Netflix, it talks about his story of his Medal of Honor, and it was all about focusing on protecting his men. And as officer in the Army, it was all about protecting my men. Jim, similar, Vietnam captain, engineer corps, he wanted to bring his men home. And that's what's special about the military. What I talked to the Hudson Bend Middle School about is we're one of the only militaries in history that goes to protect. That is our mission, is to go to fight bullies. And I stress that to these kids who are in 6th and 7th grade, that the United States military is created to get out there and stop bullies. And I try to get them the message to stand tall and don't let bullying occur. But it's really special, such a special mission for the Army. Before we finish up here, I do want to share, Marines, I'm going to give you this one. Just one. What does Army stand for? Ain't ready for Marines yet. That's your one. I never want to hear it again. All right. And then quickly, we know the important beaches. Army, Omaha. The Marines, Iwo Jima. Air Force, Pebble. So what I'd like to do. Rick, did you say I was number one? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for that at this time. Mike.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, well, there's pride in every American's heart. And it's time to stand and say, at least I know I'm free. When we stand up,
Thank you so much. If If I may have Pastor Sturdy with the benediction.
Lord, grant peace to those who have fought for our freedom. Heal their wounds, both seen and unseen. Surround our veterans with your love and comfort, and may they find solace in your presence. And as we lead this gathering today, may we carry the spirit of gratitude in our hearts. Bless our veterans with strength and joy. And may we always recognize, not just today, but every day, their service. And it's in your holy name that we pray. And may you all go from this place today with the blessing of God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, upon you now and forever. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please join the chorus in the singing of God Bless America.
Please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the 2025 Veterans Day ceremony of Lake Travis. If you have any questions about Honor Flight or the Standing Military Committee of Lakeway, Lake Travis, please come up. I'll give you an earful. Again, I may make fun, but I love and respect in each and every one who serves. So thank you all and have a wonderful day.